Hi everyone, my name's Paula Harris and I'm a member of St Mellons Baptist Church in Cardiff, where I was born and brought up. But at the moment I'm living in Belém, a city in the north of Brazil, very hot and humid here. And I'm working with teenagers in prison. And I want to tell you how I got here. So when I was a child, I always went to Sunday school, always believed in Jesus. I knew he existed, I knew God existed. But it never really did anything. It never really meant an awful lot to me, didn't really change my life. And when I was 16, I'd gone through Sunday school, I'd gone to Bible class, I was in the church, going to the services, but really didn't understand anything. So I decided, what's the point in being here? So I left. And as a lot of normal teenagers do, I got involved in drinking and went clubbing and loved dancing, so I enjoyed being out with my friends. But after a while, I just began to realise I'm miserable. I'm doing all of this, and okay, it's all right at the time, but afterwards I just had this empty feeling of this is not satisfying me. There has to be something more to life than all of this. And I just had a desire for quite a long time, go back to church. So I went back to church, and I just remember the very first day I was there, I realised what was missing. It was Jesus. It wasn't church. Church going doesn't change our lives, but it was Jesus. So I started praying for Jesus to change my life, that God would save me, that he would forgive me for all the wrong thoughts I have, for all the wrong things that I did. And I was asking for about 3 months to be different, but everything I was doing was the same. I wasn't changing. I wasn't getting any better. All my efforts were failing. Until one day I went to a Christian Union meeting in the place where I was working, and I asked a lady who was there, I said, how good do I have to be for God to accept me? Because I'm trying to be good and I'm praying, but nothing's changing. And she said, you don't have to be good. God will accept you as you are. And I realised there and then, God has saved me. I'm a new creation. I'm a child of God. And from then on, he started changing me. He gave me interests that I never thought I would have had. He led me down paths that I never would have ordinarily followed. He gave me an interest in working with troubled teenagers. And I worked for 2 years in Willows High School with children with behaviour difficulties, and realised that I had a real love for these kids and I really cared about them. And at that time as well, I was reading a book called Run, Nicky, Run by Nicky Cruz, about a gang leader in New York in the 50s. And Jesus completely changed his life. And I was thinking, I want to work with teenagers like him. I also had a desire for a while, I don't know where it came from, to come to Brazil and also to work with street children. And I had the opportunity to work with these street children in a project in 2004. I came out here and I really loved it. Even though not being able to speak the language, I loved being on the streets with these children. I just finished a teaching degree when I came out here, so I realised I need to get my teaching degree, I need to qualify properly. So I did that, but eventually in 2011, so from 2004 took me to 2011 to come out here. I moved out here permanently, learnt the language, and in 2012 started working on the streets with these street children. And I realised I absolutely loved it. I did that for 4.5 years. That project needed to close, unfortunately, but there was another project I knew that worked with teenagers in prisons. So straight away I thought, that's what I want to do as well. And I had the same feeling. I was made to do this. I'm no better than these kids. They've committed awful crimes, but I'm no better than them. The Bible tells us all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And I've seen a number of them come to know Jesus as their saviour, and they've really changed. In 2021, I'm coming back to the UK. I don't know what the Lord has got planned for me. I have some ideas of things that I would like to do. If there's prison work available to get involved in, I would love to do that with teenagers in prison there. Maybe work with human trafficking. I know a project that does that. Maybe work with the homeless on the streets of Cardiff. I know a work that's doing that as well. But I'm really excited about what the Lord's got planned. And a lot of people think that if you become a Christian, you can't do this and you can't do that. It's a load of rules and regulations and just religion. I can honestly testify there has never been a dull moment, and God gives us a peace. He gives us a joy that nobody can take away, and he is the one that satisfies. So that's my story. That's why I'm here in Brazil. Thanks for listening.